Hello, in this example I will be demonstrating the 4-channel DEMUX module insertion loss measurement on the Expo LTB8 remote setup using OptiInstrument 4.0. I will be showing the setup, process, and results. In our first example, to calculate the insertion loss, we will first need to measure the intensity of the reference. Here we will be feeding the 1250 nanometer broadband source to the optical spectrum analyzer. Once we have the intensity of the reference, we will then need to measure the intensity for each channel of the DEMUX. In similar fashion, we will be using the broadband source in the optical spectrum analyzer, but this time we will pass the trace through the LAN WDM DEMUX for each channel first. As you just saw, the only thing that changed for each measurement was the routing on the optical switch, incrementing from 15 all the way to 18. Therefore, I have two options if I want to do this calculation. One, I could create a for loop that increments the routing after each measurement, or I can run a script using the APIs to change the XML file which calculates each channel separately, which is what I'm going to do in this example. Prior to launching the script, I created 5 XML files, one for the broadband to OZA and the other 4 for broadband to DEMUX to OZA. After first connecting to the instrument, it will then load the first XML file. This first XML file will calculate the broadband to OZA. Next, it will load the first DEMUX channel, which is at 1295 nanometers. The results will then be saved in a JSON file. It will continue to load, execute, and save the data for each channel, incrementing the nanometer by 5 each time. At the end, we are left with the data for each intensity measurement in a separate file. Now that I have all 5 of my data files saved, what I could do is I can utilize one of the new features, which is the custom Python file loading. What this is you can create your own Python files that do their own calculations and add them to the sequence of commands. In this case, I've created a custom file that does the insertion loss calculation for me. What I need to do now is load this file. This file is actually also provided in the bin directory of the installation. What I can do is I can actually load a file that I've already created. Since you can save the command sequences as XML files, I can actually load it from a previous time that I've made it, just to save us time. Here in this file, you'll see that all I have to do is specify the reference, which is my broadband.json, and the 4 files that I want subtracted. I'll then utilize the functions that were created to do the subtraction for me. If I run this file now, it'll do the calculation, calculate the insertion loss, and then finally save the file in my desired location. What I can do is I can then load this file onto the graph. And here's my insertion loss calculation for the broadband source and the 4 DEMUX channels, with all of its data right here. For any questions, please feel free to contact the OptiWave team. Thank you.